Hey everyone, it's Ken and Andrea here from Northern Viking Explorer. Today we want to share with you our review of the layout and amenities of the Carnival Firenze cruise ship. We recently took this cruise to Mexico and we want to share with you our thoughts. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So let's talk about the layout and amenities of the Carnival Firenze.
Okay, the first thing I have to say is the ship is very stable.
Yes, it was.
I was surprised when we left port, both of us missed it. We didn't know we were moving.
Yeah, when we left Long Beach, there was the sail away party, and we were watching the sail away party, and I looked back and looked out the window, and we were already gone. So I was hoping to look off the edge, kind of do some filming, and we'd already left port.
And some ships, they really vibrate. So this is nice. When you sail away and it's just smooth, it's a good thing.
Yeah, so for that, it doesn't really fit out in the layout and amenities, but we just wanted to point that out.
Quality of the ship.
Quality
It's
of the
great.
ship, yeah.
And I have to add, really well maintained.
It was
Overall.
well maintained, yes. Sometimes we've been on ships and there's lots of stuff that is broken, and I'm sure they're trying to fix it, but this one, there was nothing noticeable that was broken.
Everything was just as it was supposed to be, which was great.
So like you say, well maintained. But let's start out kind of in the main pool area.
This is one of my favorite places on a cruise ship. You know, the Lido deck.
The Lido pool. So this is on deck 10 here on the Carnival Firenze. So we've got the main pool area, and then there's a deck above it, deck 11, and then deck 12. So those kind of overlook the pool area. Your thoughts?
Okay, well, let's start. I like a center pool, which is very nice. And the area is very interesting. It feels different.
I would agree. This is one of the Italian flare ships by Carnival that used to be a Costa ship. You definitely notice the Italian flair.
You do. From the materials used and the decorations, it feels different. Even the layout.
Well, there's like marbly kind of look. It's probably not real marble, but there's pillars, there's fountains. It's a totally different look than some of the what you'd call sister ships, the Panorama or the Vista. It's a totally different look around the pool.
It absolutely, especially with the different restaurants that go around it. It feels like you're in the middle of kind of like cafes and...
Well, yeah, so down on deck 10, you've got the Java Blue Cafe, Tomodoro, which would be similar to the Blue Iguana. Of course, Guy's Burger joint is there. And then the Row Cocoa Bar. So those are kind of on deck 10. And then above that on deck 11, that's the really unique spot I found.
Different
Yeah,
than
so
other ships.
It's totally covered, and it's almost like little living rooms going around the whole perimeter. There's the Il Mercato restaurant there, so that's kind of meatballs and sausages, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But little living rooms around, kind of comfy, I don't want to call them couches, but outdoor furniture. And this all overlooks the pool area.
You know, it provides a lot of comfortable seating. Not a ton of seating to fit a lot of people, but a lot of comfortable seating.
Well, and then this area also housed kind of, I don't want to call it an indoor ping pong table, but it's a covered ping pong table with a lot of wind protection. There was kind of books and games out there, and it's just a really relaxing area.
You know, with the books and games, which is a nice addition because a lot of cruise ships are moving away from the library. So it still provides the games and the books that you might enjoy in a library, but more in an open, family-friendly atmosphere.
Now, I do want to mention one thing about back down on the Lido and the pool. One wish I do have, there weren't any hot tubs in this area.
Yeah, that was definitely for me a big miss because I find hot tubs get really busy on cruise ships, and to have none around the main pool was disappointing.
It was, yeah. So it made it a little bit probably more crowded at the aft in the hot tubs, but yeah. So just keep that in mind. There were hot tubs though up in the Serenity as well for adults. The other thing on deck 11, so there was the pergola bar, I believe, was there. Like I'd already mentioned, the ping pong, games, books, that sort of thing. There was also by the Il Mercato a complimentary beverage station.
Which is nice because if you want to get something to drink, you don't need to go back inside to look if you just want a water or a lemonade. It's really convenient. I appreciate too that there is a mix of complimentary venues as well as paid for venues.
Yeah.
So, no matter what your budget or what you're looking for, there was stuff for everybody around the main pool.
Just that beverage station, I don't think there was coffee there outside. I
No.
wish there was coffee out there, but it was kind of your those Nestle stations that do the punch kind of iced tea type of thing out there. So and then above that, so you could go up from deck 11 to deck 12, and that would be overlook the pool as well, but it had the retractable cover.
Which is totally a great thing if you have bad weather to have that covered pool. But I would say for our sailing, because it was very warm, the retractable pool, you kind of limit some of the visibility into the Lido deck
not retractable pool.
Sorry.
Cover. But so I think it was open pretty much all of our cruise. But if you're in a cooler climate or maybe sailing in the winter, it's nice they can close that if the weather's bad.
I will add though, it was extremely humid on our cruise, and that area, like on deck 11, is not air conditioned. So all that area is quite warm when it's warm.
I would say there was also around this pool, there wasn't a ton of loungers around the pool, but if you went up to deck 12, so by the retractable roof, there were a fair amount of loungers up there. The one thing though that I don't want to call it a wish, because you can't, if you're going to have, I really like the retractable cover.
Yes.
But because of the mechanism, it's quite wide. I love looking over the edge and watching the parties and entertainment, and that kind of blocks it because it's probably 5 feet wide. So the views overlooking the pool from deck 12 are limited.
They are.
But I think I would trade that in to have the
I think
cover.
it's worth it.
I think it's worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Up on deck 12, there's a lot up there. There's the Carnival Waterworks. So if you're coming with kids or you
like water slides.
You like water slides. I believe there was 3 slides if I remember. And then there's a little kids splash area up there. So that was nice. I think we'd already mentioned there's loungers up there. We'll come back to kind of that area in a minute, but let's jump back to the other pool on deck 10.
Yes, the important parts, right? Everybody on a cruise likes pools.
So at the back of the ship,
yes,
we've got the Versilla pool, and there's 2 hot tubs back there. We'd already mentioned that.
But they're very busy, and I think that's because the Lido pool doesn't have any hot tubs in that area.
But I do appreciate that they were the larger style of hot tubs. They weren't the little kind of 4-person ones. They were the larger style. So that is a bonus.
It's a good thing. Definitely. It's needed.
But back there at the Versilla pool at the aft, it's beautiful out there. Great views. It's kind of tiered.
Yeah, and there's a lot of covered areas. So if you want to be in the sun or you prefer sitting in the shade, there's seating for both.
There was umbrellas as well as, I don't know what you'd call it. It's kind of like these metal posts that had fabric kind of
like
covering shade. Yeah.
Awning type
covering
things.
a lot of the chairs. So you could choose from both, which is definitely nice if you're going to Mexico for sure.
And there's music out there playing, but it wasn't so loud that I could still enjoy my earbuds if I preferred my own music. But it was a nice balance out there.
Yeah. Seating out there, I mean, around, of course, the seats right by the pool fill up first.
They're full.
But some did come available. But just one deck up on deck 11, overlooking that pool area, so just up the stairs, we found seating quite easily, loungers out there.
We did, and this is like 12, 11, 1 o'clock. I saw larger groups, like 4, 5, 6 people, find loungers together.
Yeah, and this was a full sailing on a hot day, so that was good. Because we've been on ships where we've walked around and given up on trying to find loungers.
You can't find 2 together. So to be able to find 4 or 5 together if you just walked around, that's really good. Really good.
The other thing back there, there's a couple of complimentary restaurants as well. You've got Chicken Shack as well as Pizzeria del Capitano. And there's also a little beverage station there as well, which is handy right by the pizza.
And I love that because when you're out in the sun, it's nice to be able to get water.
And that had the iced tea and lemonade as well. We should mention the Serenity area. So another great place. This is for adults. So there was 2 larger hot tubs as well. It's up on deck 15 at the front of the ship. and it's kind of got some good views. There's lots of glass for windscreen and for protecting from the wind. And if you want to grab a kind of a healthier lunch up there, they had Fresh Creations where they make a salad in front of you. So
it's a nice space.
It is,
really
yeah.
comfy loungers, different kind of seating up there. It's a nice place to check out.
But let's jump back over to deck 12. There's a lot of kind of amenities there for fun stuff. So this is where I say fun stuff. This is where you're going to find the walking or running track.
Let's talk about that. Was a good size at 1/4 mile, but it still weaves its way through loungers and is the main walkway to get through that part of the ship.
Well, the part above the Lido pool goes between the loungers, but the back is kind of open. So it's one of those things. I don't know. If you're going to go running out there, probably do it earlier in the day before it gets too busy.
And be patient.
Yeah.
You're going to go expecting that people are going to get in your way. Because if you're wanting a focused run, you might be better going and using the treadmill.
Yeah. So it's pretty quiet earlier in the day, but that midday sun, it gets pretty busy on those loungers. So it might be difficult. There's also quite a large sports court. So some ships, it's quite small. This one's quite large. The netting is a couple stories high, 2 or 3 stories high. It's got the basketball hoops in there. They can turn it into a pickleball court. There's bleachers and seating on the side, that sort of thing.
It's nice. Even if you want to go watch your family play sports or just sit and watch a game, you can enjoy that too. It's a really nice area.
The mini golf course, did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I really enjoy that, and I appreciate that it's complimentary. It's just a great place for family to hang out.
Yeah, you just grab your golf club and the ball there, and they're kind of fun holes. We've been on some ships where it's more like a putting green. This is actually obstacles, proper mini golf. You can play as much as you want.
It's not the best, most interesting course I've ever seen, but it's a decent, and it feels like real mini golf.
Yeah. And right off of that is actually the arcade.
Yes.
So the arcade was actually surprisingly big. I've noticed this with Carnival. The arcades are commonly decent size. So there was the different driving games and shooting games in there, air hockey, skee ball, basketball, and then a lot of like ticket type games where you can win tickets and then trade them in for prizes in the kind of prize hub. So outdoor foosball.
Which is another fun, great thing to have.
Yeah, beanbag toss. And then up above the deck 12 is the high ropes course.
Yes. Oh, I love the high ropes course. It makes me feel like a kid again.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. We did it. I think we did 3 or 4 laps. Yeah. And it's about 10 minutes a lap. And
that was with taking my time and, not rushing through it.
Yeah.
You'll see kids up there that are going really quick.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like the walk the plank. It's kind of a plank that goes out the side and not really anything to hold on to. It's kind of fun.
And I was surprised the lineup for the high ropes. It didn't take very long. The whole process was fun and easy. And I think if you're interested in that, it's definitely worth trying.
Yeah. And there's a lot more on the ship. So let's jump. I guess this would be on deck 12 as well, but there's the Cloud9 Fitness Center. So this is at the front of the ship. The hours of operation during our sailing were 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., except on embarkation day. I think it opened at noon. Now, you needed to be 18 or over to use the facility, and those that were ages 12 to 17 needed to be accompanied by an adult. So not the biggest gym I've seen, but they had a variety of cardio machines. They did have free weights and leg machines, upper body machines. So there's kind of everything you need in there. There was a Smith machine. So I do have actually a full walking tour of that gym if you want to check that out. We'll have it linked below in the description.
I thought it was a beautiful gym. I went up there one time and worked out, and it's all nice equipment, and it was really clean. It was very comfortable up there.
Yeah. So back on the Lido deck, you're going to find midship is the Lido Market Buffet. So it goes down both sides of the ship. So it's a decent size, ample seating in there, great views. So that kind of is what you'll find mostly on the upper end of the ship. So then if you jump down all the way down to deck 5, this is where you're going to find, let's start with outside on deck 5.
Okay. I like that space.
Yeah. It was really nice. So some of the outdoor seating for the different restaurants is there, but during the day you could actually sit there.
It'd be really easy to miss and to not see that you can go outside on deck 5.
Yeah.
It's worth going and strolling through because during the day, a lot of that seating is empty.
So, and then not only for the restaurants, but there was just seating if you wanted to go sit out there with
Loungers.
sunshades and then kind of loungers. It's kind of almost looks a little more modern out there. It was really neat.
It's very nice.
Yeah. So it was far quieter than up on the Lido deck.
Absolutely. It was really quiet.
Now, the nice thing about deck 5 is you can actually walk. You can't walk around the whole ship. We'll get to the back in a moment, but if you walk, you can walk around the front of the ship, and you can also go up on deck 6 and 7 at the front of the ship.
Yeah.
And then all the way up at deck 9 and 10 at the front of the ship as well. So decks 5, 6, and 7 are below the bridge, and decks 9 and 10 are above the bridge. A lot of people call them the secret decks because they're really quiet out there. There's benches.
They're not really advertised. If you can see them on the ship map, but a lot of people don't venture out that way.
You kind of have to go past the cabins to get there. So, but it's really nice out there. It's quiet if you're looking for a quiet space. But at the back of the ship on deck 5, this is the Terrazza Moda. So outside on deck 5. Now, there's the Moda bar at the back, and behind that is the Terrazza Moda. And typically you would have to have those premium rooms to be able to use it.
And this is why you can't walk around the whole ship on deck 5, is because there's that exclusive area at the back.
Yeah. But there is a secret tip. So we only found this on the Carnival website, and we did ask the bartender, and they said yes. So at 7 p.m. at night, they were letting anyone go out there and use those hot tubs, and it was much quieter out there.
We were the only ones in the hot tub, and there was 2 hot tubs. The first evening we went out,
yeah,
we were about half an hour by ourselves out
I shouldn't say anyone because I don't know what the age was for kids, but
it said all guests.
All guests, yeah. So it was really enjoyable out there. So I would check that out in the evening after 7 p.m. So secret tip for you, but it's beautiful out there
and quiet.
So jumping inside, there's the theater. It's the red carpet style theater.
I like it. Traditional.
Yeah, traditional. It's called the Teatro Rosso, I think.
We think. That's our best Italian.
So it's at the front of the ship on decks 3 and 4. Thoughts on it?
I like that it's a traditional theater. I like old school, that kind of velvety material.
Yeah.
The beautiful glass chandeliers.
I noticed it felt like there was lots of legroom, that like the seats weren't touching my knees in front of me. There was bar seating at the back upstairs. The one thing, and I think it's this class of ship, because I noticed this on the Vista and the Panorama as well. There's lots of pillars in the theater. So especially upstairs, there wasn't the greatest views.
And, so that is our wish, is that the better sight lines. Because so many of the seats have blocked views.
I don't think it's anything you can, like, you won't be able to fix it. It's the structure of the ship. But other ships in different classes don't have this problem. It is probably an oversight. I don't want to call it oversight. It was, I think, bad design.
Yes. So the workaround for this, if that's going to bother you, is go early and check that you can see.
Yeah. The other thing I want to mention, and so again, the Vista and the Panorama had seats on the ground, or chairs on the ground that they could just pick up and move. It wasn't a traditional style. This was much better, being like a traditional theater with the fold down seats. I far enjoyed that over the other one. Just felt,
it turns into the club at night.
Yeah.
So all the chairs come out on the other one. This
felt a lot better, like a theater should be.
Yeah.
So the Atrium, so that's outside of there as well, kind of decks 3, 4, and 5. Let me try to say this. The Piazza Duomo? Maybe?
Duomo?
First off, I really like the lion on the pole in the middle of the atrium bar.
This has a very unique feeling. It looks very different than the sister ships.
Yeah.
I liked it though.
Well, so it had the lion on the pole. On some of the other ships, you might see like a pole that lights up and changes, has almost like a video screen. Whereas this was again that more traditional with the Italian flair on this ship. It just fit.
Yeah, it's cute. It was cool.
Yeah, there's a beautiful glass staircase in there. There was seating overlooking the atrium.
Which I really like, not a lot, but you'd find like kind of like 3 bar stools together.
Yeah.
So you could sit right along the glass and look over and people watch, which is one of my favorite things to do.
So if there was something going on there, we might go a little bit early to get the bar seating on the glass because, like you said, there wasn't a ton of it. I guess that could be a wish that there was more bar seating around the whole thing. But I like sitting there too.
Yeah. It was fun to watch there.
This is where you'll find the guest services, access to the Medici restaurant, which is one of the main dining rooms. So that's right on deck 3. And shopping. So there was, of course, like jewelry, clothing, the fun shops, and a really big logo wear shop.
Which I like to browse through. Yeah. And there's some fun stuff in there.
They had the fun cruise ship models and lots of Firenze kind of gear, mugs, that kind of stuff. So a lot of cool stuff there. Let's jump to the back of the ship though. This is where you're going to find the kind of the bigger main dining room on the ship. So this is the Michelangelo dining room on decks 3 and 4. It really had an Italian feeling in it.
It definitely did. And it felt like there was kind of 2 sections to the dining room. There was the center, which felt like the big open hall with the big staircase and the statue of David.
Yeah, with his
little leaf carefully placed.
And a huge chandelier.
Yeah, and really high ceilings.
Yeah.
But yet then surrounding that area was a very different feeling.
It was almost like different walls. I don't want to call it a maze, but it was blocked off a lot. So to help keep the sound down. And you'd kind of walk through to your table.
It was definitely more private if you sat in that area. And that's where you would also find really good views of the ocean if you want to sit by the window.
So I really enjoyed the restaurant. It was nice. Yeah, it was
Absolutely.
Nice. The Limelight Lounge as well. So this is on deck 4. This is typically where they would have comedy. So the Punchliner Comedy Club. So that was a really nice venue. The Tuscan Lounge on deck 5. So this had kind of a small stage, a dance floor. They could host trivia and dancing there. It had a really cool kind of video screen.
It brought a lot of light into that area and kept it more bright. And also, this would be easy to miss. This is where you're going to find access to deck 5 on both sides of that area.
Yeah. It was commonly how we would actually get outside. So lots of other bars and things around the ship. So the Heroes Tribute Bar, there was the Piano Bar 88 and the Frizzante Bar and kind of, more kind of all over the place.
And everything really has its own unique theme. Every space feels very different.
The casino was quite large. That was on deck 4 midship. It had a walkway that kind of went diagonally through the middle. So it kind of, that's the main walkway down deck 4. So it goes right through the middle of the casino. And then, decent size on that as well. So it kind of went from the atrium area towards the back of the ship. And then I think we wanted to touch on the smart elevators.
And this is like a loved and hated thing. I think the smart elevators are great when it's just like 1 or 2 people from a party choosing their elevator floor. And I did feel like it was much faster getting to the floor you wanted to go to.
I felt like it was faster as well. So if you're not sure what they are, you, in the hallway outside the elevator, you push there's no buttons in the elevator. So you push the floor you'd like to go to on the screen, and you're supposed to push it once for every person in your party, which a lot of people miss.
Yes. It's a little time consuming to do it multiple times because you have to redo it from the very beginning, like the whole process. But
it's important to push it that many times because it knows how many elevators to send. So if you push it once for 5 people, it thinks there's only 1 person waiting there.
Yes.
And then it pops up which elevator to go to. So you go wait in front of that elevator. But again, if you don't push it enough, you might have 10 people standing there in front of that elevator and it's only been pushed twice and it only thinks there's 2 people where it would send 2 elevators otherwise. So just push the button for how many people are.
And you got to pay attention a little more. But it does work well.
Yeah. I like it. At first, I thought I wouldn't like those. We've had
Mm-hmm.
it a few times now, and I like it. I think it's faster.
Yeah, if I was traveling with a large group, though, I might find it annoying.
Um, Overall, great ship. I do have one other wish that I can think of.
And I almost felt like I got lost because I couldn't figure this out.
It was difficult to access deck 12, where the running track and the mini golf was. You can go up there only on the elevators at the front of the ship or the stairs at the front of the ship. Midship, there weren't any main stairs or elevator that would go there. I think there were stairs inside the arcade that take you from the kids area or the youth area up to the arcade, and you could kind of sneak through that way. And then there was stairs at the aft of the ship, kind of by the pool area outside. There wasn't the main stairs that went there.
Because I was confused. I went up to deck 12. You know, I'd wandered around the ship on my own, and I was watching over into the Lido deck. And then I wanted to get to the bottom of, like, deck 10 on the Lido deck.
You couldn't figure out how.
And I thought, well, there must be, like, a staircase connecting or something. I didn't... So I felt a little silly because I found it tricky to find my way down. Cause, yeah, there wasn't a shortcut that I could find.
No. So, I mean, it's hard to fix something like that. I guess a wish would be that there were stairs somehow by the Lido pool.
Yeah.
That would get you down. But other than that, this was a fantastic ship. I really enjoyed the layout and amenities on this ship. There was a lot to enjoy. And,
I enjoyed
like,
that it was different. It was like refreshing. It was fun.
Yeah, and that Italian flair was awesome. I really enjoyed the change of having that.
Absolutely.
So those are our thoughts here of the Firenze layout and amenities.